So, hi, Omar. So I'm going to give it 1 more minute just in case we have any stragglers, and then I will kick off at 4:32. And just a reminder to everyone to try and mute until until you choose to speak and respond. All right. So I just want to make sure that before we call this meeting to order, we read the new public comment notice. So those wishing to give a public comment can do so via Microsoft Office Teams. There's a call-in number. It is 1347-352-4853, and there's a conference ID, which is currently on the screen, but if anyone's just calling in and needs to listen, that is 495-738-902, followed by the pound sign. So public comment period is 15 minutes total with 4 minutes max per person. And then I also have to read our special note that this meeting shall be conducted pursuant to Minnesota Statute 13D021, and members may appear electronically. Should any member appear electronically, all votes shall be taken by roll call, and each member of the board will be able to hear each other. People can also view a live stream of the board meeting on the library's YouTube channel. And I found the easiest way to find that is actually just to go to the Rochester Public Library website, click on events, click on this board meeting, and then just follow the link from there. A recording will also be available after the meeting on the city's website, which is rochestermn.gov/agendas. So it is 4:33, and I will officially call this meeting to order. Given that we are virtual, I'll have to do a roll call. So I'm going to start with whomever I'm seeing, and I see you first, Scott.
Sorry, trying to find my mute button here.
Perfect. Thank you. Omar?
I'm here.
So sorry, but I'm having some trouble seeing everyone on my screen. It's just loading for me. So I think I saw Kristen.
I'm here.
Stephanie?
Here.
And if there's anyone else who has joined and is present, can you just say your name and then say here? I'm unable, unfortunately, to see the participant screen right now. Any other board members present?
We have Chloe and Dominic both here as well.
Okay. Thank you, Audrey. We'll have them introduce themselves once we officially call it to order. Well, that's still enough for quorum, so we can proceed. Before we start, Audrey, can you introduce them to the team?
Actually, if it's okay, I'll have them introduce themselves.
That sounds good. Chloe, why don't we start with you? Hi, Chloe. All right, Dominic, we'll start with you.
Hello, my name is Dominic Nowakovsky, grade 12.
Perfect. And Dominic can you just tell everyone just what your role is right now?
Yes, my role is the youth perspective on all, and I'm actually representative from the Youth Commission of Olmsted County.
Perfect. You broke up for a bit, so for anyone who had trouble hearing, Dominic is one of our youth reps. As you remember, we had Arhan and Sarah, and now they have rotated off. And then Chloe, I did see you for a second if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Oh shoot, I think I was muted when I was saying that. Hi, I'm Chloe Weingarten. I'm a junior at Mayo.
Awesome. Welcome, Dominic and Chloe. We're so happy to have you guys on board and get your perspective. So thank you for taking the time to join the meeting today. So the first thing on the docket is the approval of the agenda. So anyone interested in putting forth a motion to approve?
Motion to approve. This is Stephanie.
Thank you, Stephanie. Do we have a second?
This is Kristen. I second.
Thank you, Kristen. Now we will take votes via roll call. So I will start with you, Scott.
Here?
So yay, aye, or nay for the approval of the agenda?
Okay. Aye.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Scott. Kristen?
Aye.
Stephanie?
Aye.
Omar?
Aye.
Dominic?
Aye.
Chloe? Chloe, I'll unmute you because we're not able to hear you. Can I do that? I cannot unmute you. All right, and I'll go Antonia, aye. So the agenda is officially approved. Next up, we have the consensus agenda. That was a bit meaty, so before we jump into a motion, are there any questions or anything anyone wanted to raise about the consensus agenda? All right, with that, seeking a motion.
Hi, this is Kristen. I motion to approve.
Thank you very much, Kristen. Do I have a second?
Second, Stephanie.
Second.
All right, thank you, Stephanie. I did hear you first. So now we'll take votes via roll call, starting again with you, Scott.
Aye.
Then we have Kristen.
Aye.
Then we have Omar.
Aye.
Then we have Dominic.
Aye.
And we have Chloe.
Aye.
Thank you. And then I also vote aye. So the consensus agenda is
Stephanie,
fully
aye as well.
approved. Sorry, did someone just chime in?
Yeah, you missed me. It's Stephanie, aye.
Oh, so sorry, Stephanie. And Stephanie. And so the agenda is formally approved. So we can move on to President's business, starting with a foundation report. And now my participant list is loaded, and I do see Brenda is on the call.
Hi, thank you. So last month I was a little disorganized and I didn't get to let you know that we did get a grant for a scanning station in the library, which was over, I think, $12,000. So the team is in the process of ordering that. So we're very excited about that. Unfortunately, we did not get the People's Food Co-op grant for the seed library. And we also did not get the Rochester Area Foundation 365 grant. But we still have other grants on our radar, and we're going to continue working for those goals.
Brenda, could you just remind everyone of how much we were trying to get with the seed library grant?
The seed library grant was $4,000.
I just know that's a really popular program, so that's just something I want to be thinking of.
It is a popular program, and it seemed like it would be a really good for People's Food Co-op. So I'm not sure. I'm eager to see what they funded. Earlier this week, we had a email kind of consensus that we are going to go to a completely virtual event for Wit, Wisdom, and Wine, with the risk of transmission being so high in our community, and seeing projections that would indicate that peak in northern states might be the first week of February, and our event being at the end of January. It didn't seem like it was a good risk to have an event in person at the library where there might be food and drink, where people would have to take their masks up and down, and no way to, guarantee that people weren't, make them take a test beforehand or anything like that. So we just didn't want to take the risk of getting anybody sick. My last item for today is that we are working on our holiday shopping auction, which was our first annual was last year. It will run from the 24th of November, which is the day before Thanksgiving, through the 30th of November. We're starting to get some great items, and we'll be accepting donations now through October 20th. If anybody is interested in donating an item, contacting a business, or giving us a lead on a business, that would be good to get an item from. Last year, we were able to raise over $6,500, and our goal is $10,000 this year. So thank you very much. If anybody has questions, please send me an email or ask them now, I guess.
Yeah, Brenda, one quick follow-up. What kind of donations are you guys looking for? Like what's popular? What is it that you guys would hope for?
Well, the thing that is really great for me, I think, is experiences that are kind of less risky. So we have like a baby goat petting experience that we auctioned off last year, and we're going to offer again this year. You can go out to Byron to a goat farm, in spring when the babies are little, and hold the goats. And I think up to 6 people can go and take photos and have the experience. And obviously that's outdoor, a lot of open air. We have gotten some hotel experiences, which, are fine for 2 people, but things that might be enjoyable outdoors where people have space to have social distance if they need. And then gift cards. Last year we found that all of the gift cards we offered went above the asking value. So those are the things that are the most highly sought after. We also have a autographed copy of William Kent Kruger's latest novel, things like that are smaller, that are going to be easy to pick up at the library. Last year we had a snowman Christmas tree, which was really cute and fun, but really large to lug out to people. So yeah, thank you for asking. I appreciate that.
Thank you so much, Brenda. Are there any other? Sorry, I muted myself. Thanks, Brenda. Are there any questions before we move on to the foundation report? Move on from the foundation report. Okay. Well, the next up is the Friends report. Do we have a Friends report for this month? Audrey, is there no Friends report this month?
I was going to reach out to Karen. Karen, do you have anything to add? So they have moved into a new space in the library. So where the online selling is, or the online sorting is going, is now in the back of reference where magazines used to be. And they've moved into that space since our last board meeting, but that's about all I have to report. Gotcha. And they are working on getting bookstore managers to get that back open again.
Okay, thank you. Then we can move on to a Selco report. I think we don't have one, but can anyone confirm? All right, no Selco report this week. Do we have a youth rep report, Dominic or Chloe?
No, not this week.
Okay.
There's nothing from me.
All right, thank you. What about the nominating committee? I know we do have an update from the nominating committee. Audrey, would you like me to run through it, or would you like to?
Yeah, go ahead, please.
So the nominating committee met at the end of August, and we bring forth the following recommendation, and I'm happy to chat about it in more detail. So I would continue to be president, Adam as VP, and then we'd be adding Kristen Robinson as secretary. So we'd like to implement this change as we now have a vacancy in the vice president role, and we want to keep the positions through 2022. So I made a mistake when I said Adam would remain VP. He would become VP as he was secretary, since that was our vacancy, and then Kristen would become secretary. Traditionally, the president has been a VP and been a secretary before. So for continuity, we seem to think it was effective that I would keep that role through next year, and Adam would start VP and keep that role, and same with Kristen's role. And that way we could then, once I roll off at the end of 2022, they would then move up and we'd have a new secretary. So are there any questions? All right, so the action requested is that we approve the slate of officers for 2021 and 2022. So I'm going to take a vote via roll call, starting with you, Scott.
Yay.
Thank you very much, Scott. Kristen?
Aye.
Stephanie?
Aye.
Omar?
Aye.
Um,
Can you hear me?
yes, I can hear you. Thank you so much, Omar. And then we have Chloe
Aye.
and Dominic.
Aye.
So this is approved, and this is the slate of officers for 2021 and 2022. Thank you, everyone. And Kristen, congratulations.
Yes, thank you so much. I'm very honored. Thank you.
Next up, we have our Personnel Committee report. Also, Scott, I completely realized that under Selco report, I forgot to let everyone know that you have completed your Selco board orientation. So I'm going to backtrack really quickly to the Selco item and just give you a moment to speak on that if you have anything to tell us.
Not much to say. Just I completed the orientation and looking forward to being involved with Selco. But I don't have anything really to report in particular. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So now we will move on to the Personnel Committee report. And Audrey, would you like to give that one?
I don't attend those, and Adam's the chair, but Stephanie, maybe?
I'm on. I can give it. Yeah.
Oh, perfect. Thank you, Stephanie.
Thank you. So we met last month. We were awaiting a few more responses that Adam had sent out. We are meeting tomorrow in the afternoon to hopefully wrap up any of that and bring it to the next meeting for the next steps. Adam and myself also attended the meeting with the city for picking the attributes or the card sorting for the position of the library director. So we have completed that, and those are going off for the next steps for the city as well. That's all I have.
Thank you so much, Stephanie. Any questions for Stephanie? And Stephanie, did you highlight Audrey's final day of work change?
I can, yes. So it was going to be the end of January, I believe, and now it's moved March 4th, 2022. So we have a little bit more time with Audrey. We're happy about that.
Yeah, that's, to me, a lot less stress. And then it does say here that we have a planning committee meeting, but the planning committee was unable to meet due to conflicts. So we will have to circle back to that. So then next up, we have new business. So we have some work plan updates.
So in your packet, you have so as you recall, we looked at the action plans last month, and what we ended up doing as a reminder that every city department is working on work plans that all align. So in your packet, starting on page 61, I think. I think starting on page 60, you'll see both the action plans and the diversity, equity, and inclusion action plans. And so we've translated what we had in our document into the city format. So if there are any questions over what you saw, we're happy to answer them.
Are there any questions? All right. Hearing none, I will move on to old business, and that is the Charter Commission.
All right, so the Charter Commission met last night. In your packet, you'll see the letter that I sent to them based on the questions that they had earlier. They still have a question about the bylaws for the Library Foundation. Because so just as a reminder, and I know we have some new people on the board. So what happened earlier this year is they had asked us to rewrite our charter section to reflect current practice, which we did. And as part of that, we referenced the fact that the library board has a policy that undesignated donations to the library go to the foundation. And so they'd like to see the bylaws for the library foundation, and they wanted some explanation of where foundation accounts are. And so I haven't really had a chance to talk to Brenda about this yet, but you know, it's a question of, do we just pull that back out and not worry about it, or do we provide the information? So really, basically they're asking for more information, and they'll revisit this back in November.
Got you. And out of curiosity, Audrey, and I'm not criticizing their review of our bylaws or the foundation. I think that's appropriate, just given the context of the conversations we had earlier this year with the Charter Commission. I'm just wondering, are there concerns about how we're currently structured still?
The fact that they're still talking about it, I think there's still some ongoing questions. It's unclear to me. So I will say there was a person on the Charter Commission who basically said, we're the Charter Commission, we don't really have anything to do with 501c3s. And so, but they said, since it referred to it in the charter, in the suggested charter, they wanted to talk about it. So, I don't always understand what their concerns are. So I don't know that I can answer that question.
Got you. I was just kind of wondering if the foundation questions are like understood, but a bit out of scope. So any questions from anyone else on the board or any comments?
Hi, this is Kristen. Are we leaning one way or the other of how you would like to address the foundation bylaws? I mean, is there a pro and con to giving them all the information versus the other option? I guess, yeah, I guess that was a clarifying question. But I guess you have a lean one way or the other.
I don't really. I really think it's going to be up to the foundation board to decide how they want to handle it. Without having had the conversation with the foundation board, I don't have a strong preference either way. I mean, I think the way we worded it in the bylaws or in the charter section is the most accurate, but I don't know, it may be overkill. So I don't have a strong preference.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. If we have no more Charter Commission questions, we can then move on to the director's informational items, starting with the equity report.
Any questions? What I know this only covers through August. I will say one other thing that we've done recently is, as part of that Denver you'll see that one of the things that we continue to reference is the Denver Library Equity Assessment tool that we're using. And as part of that, we did send to City HR and Adam as the head of the Personnel Committee, some of the recommendations that came out of that Denver assessment. And so that will actually appear on the September report. But since hiring is so critical to DEI work, I just wanted to highlight that we're trying to use some of what we're learning to make sure that gets into the director hiring process.
Got you. That's appreciated. Any other questions about the equity report? Okay, we can jump into the social worker update because I'm really interested to hear what happened there.
So what we were hoping to do is partner with another agency to be able to hire a full-time social worker because it's easier to hire full-time than part-time. But that didn't work out. So we are now, pulling, and we didn't get the grant as we mentioned before. So we are working to create a part-time position and work with Family Service Rochester. So we hope to have an update at the next board meeting on where that hiring is and hope to get that started as soon as possible. We thought it was worth taking the chance on getting a full-time position to make it worth waiting.
Thank you, Audrey. And then the last thing that we have is the service update.
Right, so we had hoped that we would really be gearing up programming starting in September, obviously with the Delta variant and another spike, we're slowing that down. We are, working through some very limited safe options, but it's not as fast as we'd hoped. But I do want to highlight that our hours are, we have more open hours this year, this summer than we had pre-pandemic. With the hours that are added on Saturday and Sunday, we're actually open more hours this summer than in the past. So, and people are coming back, so that's good.
And then I think Kim also had an update on the Bookmobile services. Oh, that's in sharing strengths. So I'll move from the service update to sharing strengths if there are no questions, and then Kim can give the Bookmobile update, which I am weirdly excited about because I love the Bookmobile.
Hi, I've gone ahead and shared my screen. Is that something you can see? And is the screen that you see, does it say Bookmobile Services COVID Times and Beyond?
Yep.
Excellent. Well, I am always pleased to talk about the Bookmobile. I'm very happy that we have been able to continue to provide Bookmobile services through the pandemic. And just as a reminder, the Bookmobile's mission is to support strong and equitable community where all are welcome to connect and learn. We specifically target areas where those are unable to use the library, either due to geographic, transportation, or other barriers. We still meet that mission, but as you see from the picture, instead of having people inside, we are providing services outside in these COVID times. Some of the things that have changed is we have fewer stops, but we're there for longer periods of time. And there are a couple reasons for that to accommodate the new COVID safety features. One, it takes a fair amount of time to get things set up outside. We are doing primarily hold pickups, so we want to make sure that people have a good window of time to come and get their holds. We're also providing Wi-Fi from the Bookmobile at each stop. So there are some people, and I'm sorry I don't have good numbers for this, but there are people who come nearby the Bookmobile and use Wi-Fi services. That was one of the things that was identified early on during the pandemic is how do we help build capacity within the community. Access to Wi-Fi was essential for people to be connected. And that's one thing we attempt to do with the Bookmobile. We also provided mask distribution and food distribution, just like the main library does. One of the things that I will say is when the main library stopped providing the window services and went to an express service option for those who need contactless delivery, or for those who cannot wear a mask and can wear one outside, the Bookmobile is, or who cannot wear a mask and need to receive services outside, the Bookmobile is still a place for people to get holds that have those health limitations in the COVID environment. Our schedule is a lot different. We used to go to 77 stops within a 2-week period of time. Now we go to 2 stops a day, but we still have those stops very focused, and we still use a matrix evaluation to determine where we go to stop, where we go for the Bookmobile. We're always looking at how far away are the stops from the main library. We use a policy map, and we're starting to explore using the Gale analytics to get demographic layers to help us understand some of the income questions, the diversity questions of the neighborhoods that we're providing services to. We also want to make sure that we're in a residential designation where there's high population density and children. And because we're at longer stops, we want to make sure that the stops that we have are easy to use and that there is adequate parking. This is kind of the distribution of our Bookmobile stops in the COVID times. We have been on this schedule starting last summer and continuing at least through January. We did add Thursdays, so we have 2 more stops that we added this fall. We had reached out to a couple targeted schools where the school populations meet our impoverished and ethnically diverse and barriers to the main library. And because the COVID times were impacting how the schools provided services, they decided that they didn't want us. Some of that has changed. We are getting more requests, and we will be looking to fill 2 additional stops in January. And so we will be on the road more hours than we have been in the past, Tuesday through Saturday, with a January schedule. But for now, it's just every other Thursday. Some of the stops that are part of our schedule that you can't see here include Orinoco, Byron, Viola, and we also reach out to the shops on Main near Marcus Cinema. So we are reaching county locations as well. As you can see, we're looking at the stops being pretty well placed where there is income inequality in those neighborhoods, and we're really working hard to target those locations where we're most needed. And with that, I'll entertain any questions you might have.
Kim, I have a question and a comment. I actually think in future next year, it might be really interesting to somehow keep track of people utilizing the internet services, just to give us a sense of how the Bookmobile is fulfilling that need.
Well, I couldn't agree with you more. Unfortunately, the technology we have doesn't allow for good statistics. We have tried to explore that with limited success. At this point, I only have anecdotal numbers. But yeah, I agree. Good data is important.
Thanks, Kim. Scott? Scott, you're on mute right now.
Thank you. Sorry. Kim, I was just curious about the inequality index being used. Does that indicate areas where there's I would assume a large gap between incomes from lowest tier to the top tier. So does that mean that at the same time as you're perhaps visiting lower income neighborhoods, you'd also be visiting higher income neighborhoods? I'm just curious.
Thank you for asking, and that is the first time I showed that map with that particular layer. Typically, we focus on low income, and actually, we do focus on low income. That is what is included in our matrix. Some of the stops, when I put that layer, reflect the fact that there are pockets of low income where the overall, because those layers are by census block. So I think that particular layer gives us a better picture where we're using as many data points as we can, and that's only one layer that we're using. We're also looking at population density. We're also looking at distance from the main library. We look at a lot of different factors, but income is the number one. Again, I thought it was a better layer to demonstrate our focus. I'm happy to provide the low income data as well. It just doesn't get as granular as I'd like.
No, that's great, and I'm glad you understood the question. I wasn't sure I framed it correctly, so no, I was just curious as I was looking at it that popped up. So thank you.
Are there any other questions for Kim about the Bookmobile? Okay, that was our last item. So I'm just going to give, I'm echoing, an opportunity to ask questions from across the entire agenda. Any lingering questions or comments or concerns?
This is Audrey, and I do have one announcement. We are going to be moving this weekend to the, in the past you signed the contract to go to the software as a service module, and that is happening this weekend. So we are working very closely with the vendor. We don't think you'll even notice, but that is moving this weekend. Steve, is there anything else you want to say?
Oh, just a correction. It will be, look at my calendar, it'll be
it starts on Sunday.
Starts on Sunday, yep.
Yep, starts on Sunday, but it won't be done till like Wednesday or Thursday.
Yep, Thursday we will come back live, but during that time period, people can still check out items. We can pull holds and process holds. We just won't have the ability to send out hold notice information. So, a patron can look on my account and see that their holds are available, and they certainly can come down and pick them up.
But there'll be a few days of a bridge.
Thank you, and that's exciting. If we have no other questions or comments, then this meeting is officially adjourned. Thank you everyone for your time. We really powered through this one today.
Thanks everyone.
Thank you. Have a good night, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.